Good morning, everybody. Before I get into this article from the New York Times, I'm glad they used this picture because it paints a very good picture of how we came to think about the flu. Look at that picture. It was taken in late January of this year. It shows an old man collapsed on the street. Remember seeing those pictures come out of China? People collapsing in the street. China goes into full meltdown. They lock down the city, then the entire province. Hell, they even welded doors shut in people's apartment buildings so they couldn't get out. They carried people off in what looked like over-large dog cages to who knows where. It was extremely terrifying, and we thought this was the mother of all flus, and we initially called it the Wuhan flu, but we can't identify the country of origin now. We gotta call it the coronavirus. But yeah, some of us still call it the Wuhan flu. And who's to blame for it? Why, let's take a look at this headline. Behind the curve in hunt for virus source. Who let China take charge? Who, as in the World Health Organization. All right, let's get started with this, and let's see how Trump comes out smelling like a rose. As it praised Beijing, the World Health Organization concealed concessions to China. There you have it right there. The World Health Organization was willing to conceal the truth to shield China. Color me surprised. And may have sacrificed the best chance to unravel the virus's origins. Well, we all are pretty sure where the origins are. It started in Wuhan, and it might have happened in that lab that no one wants to talk about. And look at this next sentence. Now it's a favorite Trump attack line. Really? Now? I thought it always was. Let's go on. Geneva. On a cold weekend in mid-February when the world still harbored false hope. Well, the world might have been harboring false hope, but President Trump wasn't, because it was on February the 2nd, way before mid-February that they're talking about, that Trump instituted his travel ban to China. So he was ahead of this power curve already. At that point, there were only 3 confirmed deaths from COVID outside China, and scientists hoped that finding an animal source for the coronavirus would unlock clues about how to stop, treat it, and prevent similar outbreaks. That paragraph is just a little misleading because what we were trying to do at that time was we were trying to confine the flu to China, this virus to China. Yes, that was the long-term goal, to find out what its source was in order to find a way to treat it. That's what we're still trying to do, find a way to treat the virus. And a vaccination might be just around the corner. We don't know. It still might be 6 months or a year away. Let's go on just a little bit more with this. What the team members did know, and they're talking about team members from the WHO organization, was that they would not be allowed to investigate the source at all. So WHO sent in these scientists to China knowing they wouldn't be allowed to investigate. Very typical of government organizations, wouldn't you say? The organization's leadership had quietly negotiated terms that sidelined its experts. They would not question China's initial response or even visit the live animal market in the city of Wuhan where the outbreak seemed to have originated. Or maybe that Cat 4 lab in Wuhan. From the earliest days of the outbreak, the World Health Organization, the only public health body with a global remit, has been both indispensable and impotent. Wait a minute. If it's impotent, how can it be indispensable? Doesn't impotent means that you're incapable of doing anything? Good one, New York Times. When the Trump administration decided to develop its own test kits rather than rely on the WHO blueprint, the botched result led to delays. They're not being specific here, but what they are referring to, of course, is the botched test kits from WHO that gave many times false information. It was unreliable. President Trump's test kits are reliable. At the same time, the health organization pushed misleading and contradictory information about the risk of spread from symptomless carriers. Its experts were slow to accept that the virus could be airborne. Top health officials encouraged travel as usual, as did U.S. politicians like Pelosi. Let's go on just a little bit more. The WHO's staunchest defenders note that by the nature of its constitution, it is beholden to the countries that finance it. Let that sink in. Now, its largest source of finance was and still is the United States. In May, President Trump was tired about what this story in the Times has already talked about how WHO kowtowed to the Chinese, about how it hid its results, and that is why back, I believe it was on May 29th, that President Trump said, we are leaving WHO, and I believe it takes effect in July of next year. Now, if Biden is elected, he wants to believe that WHO is now, all of a sudden, as pure as the driven snow. He wants to put the country in lockdown again for 3 months. He wants to blame President Trump for the Wuhan virus, when, as you can see from the story from the Times admits it happened in China. WHO, the World Health Organization, hid the true story of the disease. We still don't know if WHO is telling us the truth or not. What we do know, though, is what has happened in the United States is at least slightly different than what happened in China. Nowhere in the United States do you see people falling down, collapsing from the disease in the streets. Is this due to our better healthcare system than just about anywhere else in the world? Or has this virus mutated? And if it's mutated, is it going to be like the flu? And as it mutates, we're going to need a vaccination each time it mutates. Damned if I know, but I know this. I would rather have President Trump in charge right now than hide in Biden.